What's up, you lovely lurkers? I'm Scott, he's Willie, and welcome to the show! Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Mando, Power Rangers, Renfield, Dungeons and Dragons, and what the heck is a skeleton crew?
And if you like our voices, you can find these faces on YouTube, TikTok, and I guess Instagram, or bidding our final farewell to Ash Ketchum. Let's lurk.
All right, Willie, before the show, you said you hadn't heard of a lot of these things, so,
Yeah, what is the Power Rangers?
where do I begin?
Is that a racist thing?
No.
Kind of?
Maybe. We'll find out together because a long time ago, the original Power Rangers show kind of like set the world on fire, at least for kids. It was this, I forget, I think it was a Japanese show, and they put American actors into it. They overdubbed a lot of things, but all of the fight scenes, I think, were like the original Japanese fighting scenes, and then the American scenes were just shot here to fill in. Yes, did they take some liberties with the colors of the time for the people and actors playing them? Yes, I think
That was an American adaptation, to be clear.
yeah, we can look back and say, like, upon further review, maybe not the best choice, but they made up for it. They changed as they went on through the iterations. This week, a new Power Rangers movie special thing was announced by Netflix. And
I'm watching the trailer. For those of you watching on video, you might see part of this in the background. Keep going.
it is part of the original crew. It's the original Megazord. It's the original little robot guy whose name escapes me right now because I stopped caring about him a long time ago. But Rita Repulsa, the main villain, is back as a robot. And these 40-somethings are now expected to fit into their tight little ninja costumes to save the world once again. Did you watch Power Rangers growing up at all?
This was my favorite show as a child. The only time this show was usurped, when it became my second class show, was when I discovered Dragon Ball Z. I cannot tell you just how much love and respect I have for the original Power Rangers. I never ventured outside of that.
Same.
And I am so freaking pumped for this. If this is going to be a Netflix show, is it a movie or a show?
I think it's just a movie, like it's a 2-hour special or something like that.
I am 100% into it. Now, to be clear, not everybody's making it back. Amy Jo Johnson, who is the Pink Ranger, we know the Pink Ranger.
One of my first crushes. Stop.
What
Don't
a
do
coming
that.
of age. Nope.
You're doing it again. That's going on socials.
Oh, God. Give me those Reapers. Give them to me. Bring me back to my senses. She's not going to make an appearance in this. She says, Amy Jo Johnson denies claims that she didn't do Power Rangers Reunion due to money. Maybe I just didn't want to wear spandex in my 50s, is what she said.
Oh, 50s.
And I can understand that. Oof.
No,
but also
not like an
Jason
ageist
David
thing. I was just like, I didn't realize they were that old. It makes me feel a lot more older than I actually am.
And also Jason David Frank, who was the Green Ranger, then White Ranger. See, racist. He is probably going to be absent from this because
Probably. I think 100%, unless they did some sort of cameo.
Yeah, they could have.
Oh
filmed
yeah,
this
they
beforehand.
could. They could Princess Leia him in. Ugh,
Yep.
that'd be a bad look. I think the woman who played the Yellow Ranger also passed away. The guy who played
she did?
I think so. The guy who played the Red Ranger, he's not coming back because I think he just is also out of the Power Ranger lexicon. Like,
So hold on. what you're telling me
Uh-oh.
is that the
I don't
two
like where this is
Rangers
going.
the two Rangers that had the most drama on the show, the Black Ranger who was the black guy and the Blue Ranger who was clearly the gay guy who got bullied are the two main characters of the show. And I say that fully knowing that I love those two characters. Netflix fucked up so bad.
They didn't have a lot of
You
choice.
got the ones nobody wanted.
That's terrible. But
Oh my god.
yeah, they did bring the Black Ranger and put him back into the black spandex.
Only
The guy
one
who
that's
was
allowed to be
bullied,
blackface.
literally bullied by almost everybody on the original show, went through a lot of therapy, found it in his
Found
pocketbook
Jesus.
to come back, I guess. But that's coming out. You're excited. I'm excited. So stay tuned, because it's either going to be an amazing trip down memory lane or one of the
just an
biggest
amazing
train
trip.
wrecks that none of us can stop watching. Speaking of ensembles, are you excited for the Dungeons and Dragon movie? You're a big D&D
No.
fan. No.
I am a huge D&D fan.
But it's got one of the
it's
best looking Chris's in it. And it's not Chris
No.
Pratt.
No. It goes in this order. Hemsworth.
Hemsworth is number one.
Evans.
Evans. I thought Evans was number one.
Pratt. Pine.
Even with all the controversy, you're putting Pratt above Pine. Are we just going on looks?
It's on looks.
We're just
it's
objectifying
not on
them? Okay,
personality.
gotcha.
Chris Pine wins on personality. He's probably number 2. But the problem that I have is I think the Wonder Woman movies have ruined Chris Pine for me.
How?
Star Trek, amazing. I
agree.
loved him in those
Biased.
films. Even the third one, the one that sucked.
It just wasn't that
But
good.
I know the first Wonder Woman, he takes kind of a backseat role. It's good. I enjoyed it. But then you get to him in Wonder Woman 1984, and you're like, this guy sucks.
84?
What did I say? 94?
Yeah.
It's the wings.
It's the wine, probably. Let's be honest.
No.
I think it looks fun. I didn't see the first D&D movie. There was one before this, believe
What?
it or not. The fact that you haven't heard of it tells you how good it was. I'm pretty sure it was like an Ooey Bowl movie too. So
They did a good job, I think, paying respects in the trailers to the foundations, to the
like the player's
culture
guide. Yeah.
of the book, right? Knowing that, like, if you resurrect somebody from the dead, you get a certain amount of questions to ask. These are all things that D&D players know, and if they can do a really good job of respecting the rules, I think they can probably do something pretty unique with this. What I'm excited for is that there's no D&D story that's alike. They just have their own twists and turns. And if this is like the movie version of like an R.L. Stein series,
Sure.
I think it could be great.
Yeah, like the campaign has kind of like a foundation that you have to like, get from point A to point Z. And kind of whatever happens in the middle is your imagination. That's the great thing about D&D. Like you can kind of do
Right.
whatever you want. Your characters have different attributes, so like the encounters are going to be based on who's in the party. I'm excited for this to potentially be a universe just because, number one, I do like Chris Pine. Number two, everybody who's a nerd, for the most part, likes this type of period kind of elves and dragons and monsters and dungeon runs versus knights and wizards and stuff. So like it's just a potential to scratch an itch for me that if done very well, I'm going to give you my money, and I will continue to give you my money if it brings me pleasure.
So go with me here. What if this first, I'm going to call it episode, comes out, and it features Chris Pine and a few other actors, and they tell their story from start to finish, and potentially has the ability to do a sequel. But what if instead they decided to have a whole new cast, whole new universe, another D&D story, and they still tried to bring it to the big screen?
I wouldn't hate that necessarily. Like I said, if it does good, but let's say it just does kind of good. Like they make their money back +5 armor. I don't know. +5 gold. Yeah. And then, so they're like, okay, this didn't do great, but it also didn't suck. There's a big audience here. Let's move it over to one of the streamers. And then they could potentially do a whole season, Game of Thrones style.
Mm-hmm.
You might not hate that.
Yeah, it's probably a movie that I'm going to see, but maybe not immediately in theaters.
Yeah. It's definitely something I will wait for it to come to streaming. Because what I found out about theaters today while searching Reddit makes me never want to go to one again.
I want to know. What is it?
They are exempt from paying their employees overtime.
Why? Because they're all kids?
There's this Fairness and Standards Act that they got an exemption, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, if you work at a movie theater, you can basically be worked to the bone and be taken advantage of. And it's the law that allows them to do that. So
what a bunch of dicks.
Fuck you, AMC.
Now, Scott, you have a few other movies on this list.
I do.
Renfield? Can we talk about this?
Yeah, so it's been getting a big push in advertising right now, so I was highly aware of it this past week. It is a sequel to Dracula, the movie.
The original Dracula?
The original Dracula. Now, for anybody who's seen a Dracula type movie, Renfield is his assistant. Somebody he is basically, he's not a vampire, but he's somehow possessed him into being at his beck and call, gathering victims for him, and he likes to eat bugs. That's the basic. That's all you need to know. This is supposed to be a direct sequel. Nicholas Hoult, who played
most recently was in one of the lead characters in The Menu.
Yep, and he played Beast in the newer X-Men. He was in this zombie movie, this zombie romance movie that I don't care about. But good actor. He's going to be playing Renfield. Dracula is going to be played by everyone's favorite actor, Nicolas Cage.
The GOAT.
So, right there, that's that star quality that you get. You're like, listen, we could make this movie, but not unless we get somebody big. Who's going to do this? The way the trailer has kind of played it out, it kind of looks campy. It kind of looks funny with a little bit of action, but it's got a hard R, which the internet doesn't like.
Wow. Wow. What?
I'm just wondering, is it gonna be
We're
funny
done
at
with
all?
Power Rangers already, man.
This is not being released by Netflix. No, this is just a feature film. This could just be like a horror movie, and a bad one at that. Like that's my biggest fear. I want it to kind of be funny and actiony. Aquafina's in it, so like they're gonna try and make her
it's gonna have some feelings.
Comic relief, I guess. But there's this part of me that's like, okay, if I go being teased as a comedy and it's not comedy, it's just like straight up trying to be horror, I might not like it. Mm-hmm. If they wrote it off as a horror movie, I don't know if anybody would really go see it because they'd be like, this doesn't look good. And it turns out to be really funny. That's just a missed opportunity. So I'm going to give this one a wait and see until at least the first couple reviews come out. But you know me, like I've told you this, I don't watch scary things. Nicolas Cage
haven't even watched The Last of Us.
Correct. Yeah. And you haven't even you said it's not that scary, but
it's not that scary.
If it's Nicolas Cage as Dracula, as a campy, like old vampire, I might go see this movie in the theater.
All right. So if Nicolas Cage was in The Last of Us as a gay man falling in love with another man, you would have watched it?
I would have watched the whole show.
You son of a bitch.
All right, so the last two things I have on here are...
You got to minimize it because I don't think we have time to talk about Mando.
No. Mando is just something I want to bring up. Like, everybody should be watching it. It's really good. It's not like last season. It's 100% Mando focus. A lot of Baby Yoda. Fuck off, Grogu crew. I know it's his name. I call him Baby Yoda. It's just what I'm going to do.
And for legal reasons, Grogu is doing just fine.
Just watch it. Once the show is over, we'll do a full recap. We'll give it the justice it deserves. But
Right.
I did a little exploring today. I'm kind of like, what's coming out next? And apparently there's this thing called Skeleton Crew that is supposed to be coming out this year. We looked over the slate way back in the day. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this, and maybe this is just my old brain that doesn't remember things like they used to, but I don't remember this being one of the titled things. Can you give us a quick synopsis of what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, Skeleton Crew is supposed to be an episodic series, I'm assuming, because it's Star Wars based, it's going to be on Disney Plus, that follows a group of kids who are about 10 years old who get lost in the Star Wars universe. Now, I tell you that, and if this is the first time you're hearing about it, you might say, that sounds awesome. And it's starring Jude Law.
Which does also sound awesome.
Totally awesome. But what are we talking about?
I know. It started filming last year. It wrapped in January.
Okay.
This could be released like technically any time. But are you excited for this?
The last few years, I think we've seen this push from Disney under the helm of not Bob Iger, but whatever the hell his face was, to release content where the quality, I would say, was subpar. They said, hey, just be a little better than Thor the Dark World. Everything above that, and you're fine. I'm hoping that at least something like this is going to bring all of this content back.
It sounds like
you're into I'm apprehensive.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, and I think Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing. Jon Favreau, Dave Fillion, they know what they're doing, and
Filoni.
Filoni, whatever.
Yep.
They're respecting the content, but I don't think that they are doing justice to the universe.
You know who you sound like?
Every other asshole?
No, you sound like a real good friend, Chris Dugan. You're starting to lose faith. The midichlorians, I can see them leaking out, just like...
Am I getting old?
The Buffalo Wild Wings
happened?
will be later.
Oh, God.
Old man yells at Cloud City.
Oh, no.
I have not reached late 2019, early 2020 Scott levels of fatigue when it comes to this.
Okay.
My re-energization of the entire year of 2020 being devoid of anything Marvel or Star Wars is still going strong. It's probably because I haven't gotten COVID.
COVID, the thing that will get you to kick that Star Wars binge.
If they can do it well, you never know with kid shows. Like, if it's for kids, as an adult, I feel like, okay, I can probably skip this one. Yes, it's got Jude Law in it, but they're just like, there's a level where it's like, why am I watching something that's for 10-year-olds?
Yeah, for kids by adults. Fuck bay. Like FUBU. FKBA.
And with that,
thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Please rate and review wherever you lurk.
Remember, be kind to one another, and we'll see you next week.